Alright gamers, let's do this! Hello and welcome to the Gamer Room! In this episode we will be doing a review of The Witcher 2, a fantasy role-playing game developed by Projekt Red and originally released for PC May 17th, 2011. It was just recently released for Xbox on April 17th, 2012. So for those who haven't played The Witcher 2, go and get it for Xbox. But I personally prefer the PC because why? Why? Because the PC rules! Alright, so story-wise, you take on the role of Geralt of Rivia.
By the milk of Mother Creatrix's tits, Geralt of Rivia, and the best company to boot.
Who is a Witcher. And to give a brief description of what a Witcher is, Witchers are mutated humans that train to become monster slayers. The story takes place with Geralt being chased in a forest. The scene then takes us to a prison where Geralt is imprisoned. A man named Roach wants to question you about a battle you were in with King Foltest. You then find out that you had committed a crime that you did not commit. There is a prologue and 3 acts in The Witcher 2, all of which are fairly long. If you're going to play, don't speed through the main story, because if you do that, it will not be a fairly long game. Enjoy the side quests the game offers. You won't be disappointed. The game does make references to the first Witcher. However, you do not need to play the first Witcher to enjoy the second. Yes, if you want to get some of the references, but I found hardly any of those of high importance. Overall, the story is very interesting and will keep you busy for a good amount of time. This is set in a fantasy. You will meet humans, dragons, elves, and dwarves throughout the game. The characters are believable, some you will admire and others you will hate. You will have choices to make story-wise, and this will affect the entirety of the story. If there is one game to compare this to, I would have to say the Mass Effect series. Gameplay. As mentioned before, you take on the role of Geralt of Rivia. There are 2 major types of weapons for a Witcher. There's Steel Sword and there's Silver Sword. The Steel Swords are used to kill non-monsters, and the Silver Swords are meant to kill monsters. Throughout the game you will come across vendors of all sorts, and here you will be able to buy better weapons, diagrams, potions, etc. There are also those who can craft items, as long as you have the diagrams and the necessary crafting material. Sometimes a diagram will ask for an ingredient that only appears once in the game, so keep your eyes opened. During combat, you will have a choice to either swing hard for a larger blow but will expose you, or swing fast, causing less damage but keeping your opponent busy. You are able to block attacks, which in most cases stun your opponent, giving you a chance to attack. In combat, you will have to use magic, or as known as signs. Unlike the first game, all your signs are unlocked from the beginning. Arad, telekinetic thrust; Igni, pyrokinetic burst; Yurgden, magical trap; Quinn, a protective shield; Axi, mind control for a limited time. You will use all these signs to help you in combat. Outside of combat, when talking to characters, you will be using dialogue options. The dialogue options consist of learning about the game, starting quests, asking to arm wrestle, playing dice, and etc. In some situations, you will have to be quick to choose your dialogue options before the game chooses for you. Once again, this is sort of like Mass Effect, the Mass Effect series, where you have dialogue options when talking to characters. In order to create potions, level up skills, drink potions, or meditate, pass time, you will have to bring up the menu for that. You might find this interface to be very clunky, as I did. As a Witcher, you are able to drink what would be poison for others, but as a Witcher, you can only drink so much. Once your toxicity reaches so far, you will see the disadvantages. To level up your skills, you will find skill trees. There are 4 skill trees: training tree, magic tree, alchemy tree, and swordsmanship tree. Each tree will boost Geralt's skills in that area. I personally found myself just sticking to the swordsmanship and training tree. You are able to create potions, as long as you have the ingredients to make them. These ingredients can be bought from vendors or picked up in-game. I had found the inventory system, well, sucky. Maybe that was an overstatement, but I do think that they could have done a better job at creating it. This game is meant for adults. There are some sex scenes and a good amount of gore. The game delivers a challenge that most gamers have forgotten. This is probably why I love the game. Some quests have you read your journal in order to understand the quest, and you are not always given markers to follow quests. Overall, the gameplay is challenging and not too difficult. You will die in the game, no doubt about that. Possibly after a second playthrough, you can possibly make it through without dying. Good luck. If you're dying too much, don't give up, because there is always a way to complete the quest. Replay value is high for this game. You might fail some quests, which cannot be completed once you fail them. This is good. Some choices that you make will affect the entirety of the game, adding onto the replayability, as did the failing quests. You will enjoy the combat, whether you're fighting monsters or fighting humans. This game is meant for adults, and we have been waiting a long time for this type of game. Graphics. This game is just beautiful. I was very surprised that my PC could run it, but it runs fine. 50 FPS, and I'm happy. With that being said, you will need a gaming computer for this. If you're playing on PC. Xbox, there's not going to be as good graphics on the Xbox. This is kind of predicted. PC is where it's at if you want beauty. If you want to just stare at the background, you kind of want PC. I haven't tried it for Xbox, but PC is where it's at. The lighting in this game is very well done, as well as the textures. Mouth animations are not the best, but it's nothing to make me just quit the game and stop playing. Everything else, I mean, that's just a small thing. Everything else is just beauty. I enjoy walking in environments because they did so good that the game makes you believe you are in a town or a forest or a cave. Sound-wise, the sound was also beautiful. The soundtrack used in the game was perfect for all the situations, for all the environments. When it was nighttime, an eerie soundtrack would play, adding to the creepy atmosphere. Many times I would be walking into the woods at night and jump in my seat because I had hit a small trap. The soundtrack changes depending on if it's day or night, and if you're in combat or not. The cinematic scenes have amazing soundtracks as well. As for sound effects, it shouldn't be a surprise. They're excellent as well. Wherever you go, the sound effects make the atmosphere of where you are. I would actually think I was in a pub or forest at night or morning. Just because of the atmospheric sound effects. Combat sounds were very well done and felt like you were actually using weapons on enemies. You could definitely tell that they improved greatly with their voice actors compared to the first one.
The Temerian Special Forces, created by Foltest to combat the Scoia'tael after the First War with Nilfgaard.
Compared to the first one, it sucked. Voice acting sucked. Now, characters are believable. In the game, I would just hate this one character because of how they acted. The voice acting made me believe that that character was real. It was just amazing, and this is a plus in my book. Pros and cons. So many pros. So many. Story. Not just the main, but the side quest stories will keep you playing. Replayability. Some of the major choices you make will affect the entirety of the game. In combat, it's not just hack and slash. You will have to use strategy when defeating your foes. Use magic. Use your sword. Block. That's the strategy that you will be using. It's a game for adults. We've been waiting a long time for this. GTA doesn't cut it. This is a game for adults. Graphics are beautiful. Just beautiful. I look at them all the time. I sometimes just walk and just enjoy the sun going down. Soundtrack and sound effects add to the atmosphere and characters. The number one pro, though, would have to be the challenge the game delivers. Yet, not extremely difficult. A true challenge, and we have been waiting for a true challenge a long, long time. I remember playing my NES, and that was a true challenge. This game, true challenge. Love it, love it, love it. Not so many cons. The only two cons I have for this game. Only two. Only two cons. Interface is a bit meh. And inventory system is not so good. Alright, that's all for the Gamer Room's review on The Witcher 2, a fantasy RPG role-playing game. I hope you enjoyed it and learned about the game. Please go out and buy this game. It is out for Xbox, but is highly recommended for you to get a gaming PC and enjoy the game to its full potential. The next review will be on Diablo 3. Comments are always welcome. Subscribe and join us!